Hey, good evening. Can everybody give me a thumbs up? You can hear me? Excellent. And you can see the deck that I got up. Okay, very good. Thank you. I'm a one-man show tonight, so I'm letting everybody in and the meeting. And so bear with me if I pause to let somebody in or any of that good stuff. So I do apologize. We're going to get started. We don't have a whole lot of participants. I'm thinking maybe high school baseball might have something to do with that. And the fact that I know I had to pivot last week. I double booked and we actually had our um, collegiate call last Monday. So that may be contributing to the lower numbers, but it is what it is. We'll record it and we'll make the best of it. Our Monday nights, if I could get maybe a little straw poll here, are Monday nights challenging this time of year with high school baseball or still pretty good? What do we think? Anybody can chime in. You can unmute yourself.
Depends on the game.
Depends on the game. Okay. Makes sense. Maybe I'll try to look to back up the next call. Maybe go, maybe start it at 9. Maybe have our staff call before this one and just allow everybody a little bit more time to chime in. We'll see. I'll put it out there to everybody. Okay. So we're gonna
I'm here
get
for you,
through.
boss man.
What's that?
So I'm here for you.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you. And I know you had a travel day, so it
Yes,
can be
sir.
done. It can be done. Imagine that. Let me admit all here. Yeah, we're getting a whole bunch jumping in now. So, this is our March 23rd call. So it's our third call of the month or of the year, excuse me. So, just wanted to thank everybody for being on the call. And we're going to get started. Let's make sure I can advance everything. So, and I might have went one too far. Yes, I did. Okie doke. So, like I said, bear with me. I will try to make sure that I'm going to move this little dialog box over here, that I don't miss anything, and also allow the people that are jumping in at the late moment here to take advantage of the meeting. So, let's couple things that I got since our last time we were together. Obviously, continue to let me slow down. Continue to communicate. If you try not to say those words all at the same time, you actually have success. Continue to demonstrate really good communication. Very, very important right now. We're kind of in that time period right now where Saturdays are obviously very, very heavy for everybody. Everybody's trying to negotiate lots of contacts and opportunities. So the ability to communicate is really, really important. So let's continue to do that. And we've got, and I'll be talking about the different things tonight on how we're doing that. But we're investing a lot of money on staying communicative. And I hope everybody is starting to see kind of how we're able to, mass email and mass text everybody when we have needs and whatnot. And we're gonna utilize that functionality a little bit more with our um, the way that we communicate and the way that we go about our business. So continue to do really, really good communicating because it's extremely important and it's the lifeblood of how we're going to stay successful. So it leads me into my next point. I got ahead of the gun a little bit here, but balancing high school and collegiate Saturdays are very, very difficult. And I know a lot of you are being pulled in, 10,000 different directions, being asked to do high school Saturdays, which we have them. There's some pockets of Northern California that don't have, they're not asked to do a whole lot, but then there's other pockets that definitely have Saturdays. Saturdays have creeped into the high school space just because of the shortage of officials, and so they're trying to, spread out those games to where at least at the very least varsity games are covered with two umpires, and sometimes the only way that you can do that successfully is being able to shift some of those people over to Saturdays. So I know in the Bay Area there's a lot of Saturdays that go on. Obviously, that hinders us a little bit because that pulls people away from, working our baseball on Saturdays. But we completely understand. We completely appreciate what you're trying to do and trying to balance for those. So for those of you that are balancing high school and college on Saturdays, just keep us informed. Continue to use the RQ platform to message and to keep us up to date. I did have somebody message me the other day and try to get clarification on what is the block intended for? Like what part of time is that intended for? That's intended to show us when you're not available. Not when you're available, but when you're not available. So that's when we want to use that period of time, that start and stop time of when we're not available. So it was a great question and one that I definitely wanted to try to touch on tonight. So when you're in that scheduling piece and your availability, and you're one of these high school or collegiate guys, we're basically looking for that time that you're not available. So for instance, let's just say you've got a high school game at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. Sounds unrealistic, but it could happen. You're going to want to go in there and you're going to want to at least block out an hour prior to that high school game. If that hour has travel time in it, you're just not going to be available, for us. So we're not going to look to schedule you at all in the AM. And then if that game starts at 9, we're going to probably want to look to at least block off 3 hours of baseball time, even though the game might not last that long, but you definitely want to side on caution. So basically, you got an hour before and 3 hours of basically time. So that's 4 hours that you wouldn't even be available for. And then you'd probably want to buffer in another half hour of commute time if you could get to Twin Creeks, or if we're running BLD Manteca or Billy Hebert, just a rule of thumb. So we're looking at 2 o'clock at the earliest that you could be available to work. So that could possibly be if we have a 2:10 time slot, and then a 4:20 and a 5:30 and an 8 or something, you could potentially get 4 games in that afternoon. That's a possibility. So just a rule of thumb, it's a block of time that you're not available that we need to see you account for. Not the time that you are, but the time that you're not. So hopefully that's helpful. But the more communication that we can have with everybody, but especially our folks that are trying to balance working for your high school associations and your collegiate groups, this becomes really important to stay connected and make sure that everybody knows what we're doing for the weekend. Okay. That covers the next bullet point right there. What the time that you can't work. So I think we've exhausted that. Um, we had somebody get hurt, unfortunately, this last weekend stepping on a bat. So again, I want to caution all of us, especially at Creeks. We're really tight, everybody, between the space between dugouts and the fair foul line and behind home plate. Those areas are all very, very restricted. There's not a whole lot of space there. So we have to be cognizant if we're working a rotation and we're making our way back to home, that plate umpires and even umpires that may rotate back and forth. We got to make sure that we're not going to come back and step on a bat, roll an ankle, blow an ankle out, and now we're looking at downtime. We're looking at PT. We're looking at all those things when we could have potentially avoided that by just being aware. These little kids are going to throw their bats. They're going to whatever. They're not as cognizant, as aware of the clearing the bat like maybe a high school game and definitely a collegiate game. You're going to have that on deck batter that's going to have that awareness and that presence to potentially clear that bat. We're just not going to have that in the youth comp space. So we just got to be very, very careful as we're rotating up the line, and then as we're making our way back where we don't have a play that's developing at third base as a plate umpire. And then when we're running back, we're very conscious of our surroundings and any material that may be laying on the ground, so we don't roll over on a bat, because stepping on a bat usually doesn't equate to any kind of positive experience last I checked. So let's be very aware of our obstacles around our dugout and our home plate areas to assure that that we don't have any injuries like we that popped up on I believe it was on Saturday. Let me pause for just a second because somebody's name just popped up and I owe that person a phone call. So I'm going to make a note. And that's how my mind works, ladies and gentlemen, just like that. Something will trigger it, and man, I got to write it down. Okay, my next point. Let's look to have more in between innings presence, especially the plate umpire, but the base umpire could help out as well, where we are engaging in our players and our coaches to get in and out of the dugouts and on and off the field a little bit more quicker. So we speed up the downtime and we're getting coaches and players ready to go quicker. And I would also encourage limiting the amount of warm-up tosses between innings. After the top of the first, bottom of the first, those 8 warm-up pitches, we can chunk that down to 5 after that. There's no need for a 12, 13, 14-year-old kid to have 8 full warm-up pitches. It's just not necessary. We don't do that in the collegiate space. That's not necessary. So there's no reason for it in the comp use space at all. What this is going to do, it's going to keep everybody engaged. We're going to flip the inning and the half inning over quicker. We're going to hopefully have more attention to the game, and the pace of play is going to be better, and we're going to have an overall better experience. And we're going to make sure that those batters are ready to go. So when that last pitch is being thrown down, we're bringing that batter up. Everybody's ready to go. We're putting the ball into play, and the hope is that we're going to get more game action instead of downtime. That's the goal. And the reason I say this is because I will tell you that a visible clock for the duration of a game, okay, the hour and 50-minute that we're working with right now currently, there's going to be presence of a visible clock very soon. That's going to help us tremendously. And there is some talk about timing between innings to speed up play, to keep games on a good pace, to get kids in and off the field. So we have more playing time instead of downtime. That's coming very soon. So I want us to start to be aware and to start to be cognizant about the pace of play. And I want to see our plate umpires especially keeping track of how many warm-up pitches are conducted by that pitcher. And let's try to limit it to 5. Let's have some conversation with them. So when they, let's just say that starting pitcher comes back out in the top of the second. Hey, young man, we're going to do 5, and then we're going to throw it down. We're going to get this game going. Okay, you with me? Can you help me with that? Absolutely, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Let the catcher know as well, and let's get the game moving. And if that requires going over and talking to that team that's hitting and their dugout, like, hey, I want to make sure we have guy that's ready to go and hit on deck and maybe in the hole. We're good to go, right? We're ready to go here. That way, the pace of play starts to become more of an emphasis. I've been talking to a lot of people, a lot of coaches, and they're in favor of this. They would rather see us limit the amount of between inning pitches after the top and bottom of the first inning and getting the game going and having a more of a quicker change of pace or a pace of play. And I think that will aid in our overall performance and help us out. So let's start to implement that. And I will speak about this every call, see how we're doing, get some feedback. But I think it's important that we start to get the pace of play going in every level of baseball that's being played, at the professional level, at the collegiate level. It's soon to come to the high school level. It's going to be here at the comp travel baseball level. Every level of baseball is going to have more of a pace of play, more of a timing mechanism, more of an accountability with timing coming very, very soon. So why not get out in front of it? Start to make that part of your repertoire. Start making that part of your cadence. Start making that part of your mechanical aspect. Plate umpire, especially base umpire, can help. Okay. All right. I mandated a communication component to our pre-event protocol with text messaging to our partners, and I know that that can be challenging when when we have multiple partners in a course of a day. I get it; it's hard, but this is going to keep us on track. This is going to eliminate um, errors. This is going to eliminate somebody not showing up. This is going to eliminate somebody not knowing that they're on field 8 that particular day or whatever it is. Or this is going to, help us in what plate jobs we're going to do versus what base jobs we're going to do. I will tell you that in the collegiate space, I require all of my people to reach out to administrators, coaches, athletic directors, game ops, people either Sunday night prior to that week's activities or at the latest on Monday, and it's in a form of an email, and it has to have all the pertinent people. So we have a record that the umpires reached out to the game administrative people about everything from where to park, do we have a locker room, do we have snacks, um, who is the game operations person. So if we have a problem during that game, that person, I know where they're at. Do we have a grounds crew? All of the pertinent information that's relative to conducting a single game or a series on a campus. So we should, as travel competitive baseball umpires, have something similar to that. So the text message protocol is in effect. It was in effect last weekend, and you could probably get some acknowledgement from some of our folks on the call tonight. I reached out. I said, show me your screenshot. I want to see a screenshot of your communication because I want to know that we're doing it. And yes, it is a little bit of a micromanage, absolutely, because I got a little frustrated 2 weekends ago because we had people missing assignments. Like, there's no excuse to miss an assignment. That's like, I don't get it. I mean, we've got this wonderful, beautiful platform that we're using now in RQ Express. Everything's there for you. It's written out beautifully. Harrison does a great job of putting the schedule out. Our friends down in Southern California, Stu, Scotty, Pete, they do a great job of putting the schedule out. There should be no reason that we don't know what games we have, at what times that we have, on what day that we have, and what partner that we have. Should be no excuse. And I was getting that, and I got frustrated by it. So I said, you know what? We're going to make a text message protocol. You're going to reach out to your partner, and you're going to go, check this box, check that box, check this box, cadence. And I text people this weekend saying, send me your screenshot. And to the credit of those folks, they were dialed. They had it. And it was awesome. And I appreciated it. And I said, kudos, congratulations. Spread the word. Billy Hayes is checking. So don't get caught. Don't get caught not having that communication. Don't get caught saying, I didn't hear from my partner. Then you should have reached out. You should have had a conversation with me. It's not about tattling. It's about accountability. We're never going to get better unless we have accountability. We're never going to get better if we're not held to a certain standard. And that's what we're trying to do here. Hold everybody to a standard. So if this becomes norm, if this text messaging protocol becomes norm, we should never have a problem with miscommunication. Somebody missing an assignment, somebody missing a time, somebody missing a field, somebody not knowing what field to go to. Should never, ever happen. So that's the reason for it. And I will continue to reach out, and don't get put off by it. Just be like, yes, sir, here you go. Boom. I'm checking the box. I got it. And that's the way it should be. And it should help smooth out our weekend, and it should smooth out everybody kind of knowing what's to expect. So, for instance, if you've got a full day and you're working with 2-3 partners, why wouldn't a text message be appropriate to say, hey, I'm working a full boat. I got 7 games, and you got 3, and you got 2, and you got whatever. We're working out those plate jobs so those plate jobs become equitable throughout the day. And then, what shirt are we wearing? Hey, by the way, I'm going to be on field 5 for the first 3, 2 for the middle 3, and for the last 2, I'm going to be over on field 1. So it's all about communication. And if we're not doing it, we're failing. And failure is not an option. It's not an option in my life, and it shouldn't be an option in yours. So we can't fail. We have to succeed, and we have to be buttoned up. And this is going to be a great part of that. So this should become norm. This should become standard operating procedure. This should not be a surprise. And when I ask to have a screenshot for your proof of communication, it should be right there. No problem, Billy. Here you go. Check the box. It's all good. Okay. Hopefully everybody understands where I'm coming from there. This is more of a conditional thing to safety net us, little insurance policy, if you will, to make sure that we don't miss assignments and we haven't missed something not only on the staff side, but on the umpire side. So we're executing a tournament and we're giving the customer the best possible version of ourselves. And I think that this will aid to that. Okay. All right. I'm getting comments, a little concerns, and this is coming from veteran officials, some coaches, because I ask coaches everything. So when coaches call me, they call to complain. This guy didn't do this guy didn't do that. And once I get past the minutia of them being upset about something we didn't do, I asked them, so what did we do good, though? Was there something we did well? And 9 times out of 10, they got something, which is great. We didn't completely annihilate ourselves by making them feel like we were, complete turds. They always have something good to say. But then I asked them, I said, how do they look? Like, how do they look? They look like an official. They look like they, and I get 60-40 on the return, positive. We should start to think about our presence and our appearance and making sure that we are, we look the part. We don't have old faded cloth material uniforms. We're setting some resources aside to make sure we've got a nice clean hat or some remnants of that. We've got to make sure that our ball bags don't look like they sit below the car seat Monday through Friday, collecting dust. No, we want to look the part. We want to look the part with the uniform. We want to look the part with our equipment. Some of us need to get some equipment. I've gotten a couple stories, about people missing equipment. I've heard some stories about people having equipment stolen. Reach out. We can put something together. This group of people, they're great people. I guarantee somebody's got an extra chest protector, an extra pair of shin guards, or an extra indicator, a mask, or whatever that, one, they would loan, two, they may gift. This is a great group, and I think we could help out in that aspect. So let's start to self-police a little bit our uniform game, if you will, and take some pride into that. And shore some things up if the pants are faded beyond and they're starting to turn white or they're purple because of all the washing. It might be some time that we set some game fees aside and invest in some new pants, right? Or if you're trying to fit this year's ass in last year's pants and it's a little bit of a squeeze, we may want to try to update the pant game, right? Get some new pants. So let's look at that and say to ourselves, and maybe ask our partners, how do I look in the uniform? What do you think? And be honest. Give a good critique. Hey, I think everything looks good, but yeah, those plate shoes are rough. We may want to maybe take a brush to those, maybe some water, maybe a little soap, and knock the crap off of these things a little bit, right? So let's try to ante up a little bit here and make our appearance look a little bit better, okay? Let's see here. Okay, I want to acknowledge this. We had some people really step up this last weekend and do a lot of plate jobs. I know somebody that did 7 plate jobs this last weekend just because of the unbalance that the schedule became because of some people getting hurt, some people having some car issues. It was a gamut. It was a lot of stuff. Shit happens. That's my job is to work through all that and try to find the best balance. But we just didn't pull that off this last weekend. It was unbalanced, and people had to, make up for some stuff. And I shared with a couple people how much I appreciated them for stepping up and doing the right thing, the important thing, getting these games done, which was awesome. So sometimes there's going to be a lot of moves, and it's a puzzle piece. It's not going to always fit. I'm looking at this thing on Saturday, and I'm balancing all the other stuff that I'm trying to do, and I'm looking at like, oh, that person only has 2 games here, and maybe this puzzle piece it'll work over here, but then it's going to work out sometimes where somebody's going to feel like they got screwed, and I'm sorry if that happens. It's not intentional. It's just trying to make sure that we're trying to get 2 people on every game, and sometimes one field's behind and this one's ahead, and I'm going to bring this person over to get one here, and then I got somebody else that can move over to this one here, and we're piecemealing this thing together, and it's really hard because I don't know if you started off on the plate or if you started off on the bases or what transpired. I don't know those things. I'm not a Houdini act here. I have no idea. So just know that if the schedule becomes unfavorable and you're not in favor of it, and you end up working 7 plate jobs or more than you signed up for, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Plain and simple. Wasn't intended. Didn't set out for it. It's kind of how it played out. And we had several people this last weekend they just stepped up and did it. And I didn't hear that they bitched about it. They may have grumbled a little bit, deservedly. But they all stepped up and did the right thing. So just know that doesn't go unnoticed. We know. 100% we know. It's the only way we can get you guys paid accurately is we got to keep tabs on all these moving parts. And let me tell you, this last weekend was, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it was scratch here and all kinds of notes to make sure that, payroll goes out this week and everybody's compensated for the games that they did and the levels that they did, and everything is right. So just know that it doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate it. Okay, well, a little too fast. Okay, couple more things here. The mentoring that is taking place out there right now, we've got crew chiefs that are doing evals on new folks, writing really, really, really great material and really, really great insights to help the staff understand and know what competency levels our new folks have and our existing folks. So this is huge. If you get an opportunity to get mentored by a veteran umpire, relish that. Welcome it. Listen to what they have to say. They're coming from a great place. They're wanting to give back. They're wanting to help. They're wanting to make our organization the best it possibly can be. Learn something from them. Take those valuable nuggets and utilize them as quickly as you possibly can. I think it's really, really important that we embrace that, and we accept constructive criticism coming from our veteran people and our crew chiefs that have been designated. So that's really, really important that we do that. And I just want to thank those people because they're going above and beyond. They're staying past the games that we've assigned them to watch and to mentor and to give feedback. And I mean to tell you, it's the only way that we're going to be successful. And I appreciate these people, and I thank them for what they have done and what they give back. So I just wanted to touch on that because that's really, really important. Please make sure that we are looking at our published assignments and especially the details. For those of you that are going into RQ and looking at that and really, really studying it, there's a lot of detail that's in there. The field is in there. Your pay is in there. Your partner's in there. The time, the field, like I mentioned, all the aspects. Very, very important that we're looking at everything. And not only that we're looking, but we're scanning it to see if we've got breaks in there. Harrison's trying to do a really great job of keeping all of you guys as fresh as possible. We are still building up to our busy season. We're not quite there yet, and we won't get there until probably the high school baseball season is over. So sometime in May, you're going to start to see that uptick in the amount of games and probably less breaks, just because we need everybody to maximize the amount of games that they can do. So right now he's trying to balance it as best as possible to build in breaks and to also to keep people engaged and keep people fresh in umpiring, and not just build it to where, we've got the same people working 7 straight on Saturday and 5 straight on Sunday, or whatever the mechanism is. We're trying to avoid that. We're trying to really do a good job of building in breaks so everybody can stay fresh. Everybody can have that moment to kind of catch their breath, grab a bite to eat, and then tackle the second half of their day. So it's really important that when the assignments come out, we're really studying that and really taking a look at it and figuring out to ourselves when that communication mechanism, the text message protocol comes into place, the mandated one, that we're able to answer the questions about, yeah, you take the first 2 plate, I'll take the second 2, and then I got this. And so you're mapping your days, you're coordinating your days with your fellow official. I think that's really important, and that's teaching really good communication skills and accountability. So we want to make sure that we're doing that. So when that published schedule comes out, when Harrison pushes the button for that thing, take a look at it. Not only take a look at it when it is initially published, but then we've got our friends at NCTB and Unrivaled that'll come to us and say, oh, by the way, 2 teams bailed, or 2 teams entered at the last minute. And now we've got more games, or we got less games, or when the less games happen, now he's got ooh, great. I got to move this person here. And now everything is all shifted. So it's really, really important that we're watching the messages. We're looking at RQ often, and especially leading up to the weekend. You should probably be in that platform on a Friday 2 or 3 times at minimum, just double checking to make sure that there's nothing that's changed, nothing that's been updated. There's no schedule adjustment, time, field, partner, whatever. Just constantly checking into it. If you ask any collegiate baseball umpire right now that is worth their weight in gold, they're in RefQuest all the time, because that's where they got to live to make sure that they're getting all the information that they need with all the different things. I mean, you talk about weather, game changes. You got to think about changing a flight. You got to think about the time in transit. You got to think about the getting home. All these things. There's so many things that we ask those people in the collegiate space. So here we are, in the comp youth space, and we're taking advantage of this wonderful platform, this great technology. Let's utilize it to the best of our abilities. Okay. All right. What do we got next here? All right. This is a big one. Please be careful with your interactions. And I put without, but it's with our. So that's a definite typo. That's my bad. That we're looking at and watching our interactions with our coaches, our players, and our fans. We have to be very, very careful in limiting our comments. We had a situation over the weekend that it was just, I couldn't defend it. And I let that person go. I couldn't defend it. I mean, what do you say to a coach when he calls you up and says, this was said, this was done, this happened? And then you get collaboration from a few more people that were there that are not tied to that organization, and you get solidification. Yeah, that was said. And you're like, I don't care what setting we're at. Inappropriate. Completely inappropriate, and can't be tolerated. And it's not a representation of BBUA. Quite frankly, it's not a representation of officials and umpires, and it just can't happen. And it did this last weekend, and I had to take drastic action and let somebody go. Like, done. No longer part of the organization. Will never be part of the organization ever again. It just can't happen. It just can't happen. It's not defendable, and it's cringeworthy, to be honest with you, when you have a conversation with a coach that you have found out is very credible, wants to see us succeed, has wonderful things to say about our organization and our umpires, and to have them share a comment that is directed towards one of the parents, um, mind blowing. I was completely taken back by it, and very, very felt a lot of remorse for him. Some of the things that were some of the interaction with even the players was somewhat cringeworthy as well. Um, we just have to be very careful how we interact with these folks. For the most part, there's a lot of good people out there. Now we have we have our turds. We have our coaches that are just they're turds. We know who they are, right? And sometimes we have some players for that matter. Um, I tend not to blame the player as much because the player learned that somewhere, and that usually comes from an adult. So that's unfortunate. But let's be respectful to coaches, players, and fans. Let's not have off color, off putting, inappropriate, um, unexcusable interactions with coaches, players, and fans. We just can't have it, and we should throw officials in there too. We should be respectful to them as well. So we just have to be careful. I don't like letting people go. It's not fun. It's not the highlight of my weekend. It wasn't. Um, yeah, let's just be careful, please. I'm going to leave it at that. Okay, let's continue to refer and recruit good, solid people that are going to make good, solid umpires. I've seen a couple names on the call tonight that are absolutely phenomenal and sending us really, really great people. And then we're bringing these people in. We're getting evaluations on these people, and we're getting rave reviews and good marks on a few people. So continue to do that. We're really appreciative of that. You're our best ally and our best advocate and our best recruiter when it comes to finding us new people. And some of you are hitting it out of the park and referring just some solid folks. So I encourage everybody to continue to do that. We're going to need you. We're going to need everybody. When this thing starts to crank here in a couple weeks and get really, really busy, it's no joke. And so having these great, folks that are being pointed out to us that are coming from all different places and whatnot is tremendous. And the enthusiasm that some of the new folks are bringing too is just awesome. And I love hearing it. And it's very rewarding, to get that referral, to onboard that person, and then that person goes out for the first time and works with us and interacts with our existing people, and our existing people are like, that's a great person, lots of energy, great enthusiasm, they're going to be a keeper. And you feel great about the process, and you're encouraged by the process, and you feel very, very good about what has been done in recruiting that individual. So you people continue to be our biggest advocates and our best sets of eyes and ears. So I would highly recommend to continue that process. And if you've got somebody that you really feel is going to be a great person and really going to fit in to our organization and what we're doing here, good, solid people make good, solid umpires. I will stand by that all the time. And if you're not a solid person off the field, you're never going to be a solid person on the field. So these people that are being referred have to be solid people off the field because they're tremendously great on the field. And gosh, the comments that we're getting are just they're rewarding. They make you feel good, and especially after you had a weekend that I had this past weekend, and it wasn't just in the comp baseball space. I had a hell of a weekend on the collegiate side of things too, and it was all weekend. Started Friday night and went all the way to last night and into today. So um, that made me feel good. Those are those little bursts of energy that I need to make me get out of my ho hum, sorry for Billy Hayes type moment, and I go, yeah, those are good. So then it rejuvenates me, and I feel good about what we're doing here and what we're trying to do as mentor teachers and instructors. So continue to bring on those people. We love them. Um, As I mentioned before, our busy season is fast approaching. So if everybody can kind of start to look at that calendar and start to see, we're going to start getting busy because, once the 1st of May clicks over, most high school, junior varsity, and freshman seasons, they're done. So, like, the first week of May, they're all finished. And so that's huge because that's a large pool of officials that we can kind of get back into the fold and start to help us because as soon as May is over and as soon as that high school season for varsity and playoffs are kind of done, man, that's when, NCTB goes full blast. Our friends at Prospect Wire, our friends at Perfect Game, our friends at Best in the West, you name it. Those people are all starting to rev up and give us a ton of tournaments. And so we need all hands on deck. So right now, if you're anybody like myself who's a planner, I mean, I've got November scheduled right now for my family. I know exactly what we're doing every weekend. Start to think about that. Start to plot that out. Start to think about, the opportunities that you can give us. And then obviously maybe some opportunities that you need to give yourself and your family. And maybe you just need to rest. Maybe you just need to decompress. Maybe you just need to get away from umpiring and travel baseball altogether and just reconnect and get those good vibes back. And that's okay. I encourage that. So we all need to work together as much as we possibly can because that busy season is not that far off. And man, when it gets here, it gets here. And it's no joke for from that point, I want to say the end of May, we get to Memorial Weekend until Thanksgiving, it's kind of on for us, and it's no joke. So we're going to need everybody and all hands on deck there. So please, by all means, getting small little incremental improvements, but not to the standards that we need on filling out and turning in legible, readable game cards. Please, I know it's hard. You're out there and you're having to write on a card, and that's challenging in itself. I would encourage you that if you've got the means, there's really good some hardback card holders that umpires can put in their pockets. I highly recommend those because I think that helps us write down things a little bit more smoother. But the best information you can give us with all of the pertinent data is really, really important because when these things are turned into our game operations, folks, we're challenged sometimes to make sure that pitch counts are accurate, that the runs were accurate, all the pertinent stuff, the trips and everything is accurate. So we have a defendable document to make sure that the checks and balances are there. When we hand in a card that's not legible and readable, man, that makes it super hard for Johnny and his group at Creeks, and then Cameron and those guys when they're at the other places. It's just really important that we really watch how we're filling out those cards. It's getting better. I'm hearing slight improvement, but we still got some that come in and they're like, well, what heads or tails? I have no idea. And I don't want these guys to have to go into some team's game changer and figure out what we should have done on the field for ourselves. That's part of our responsibility. It's part of the job. It's part of the requirement of umpiring. So let's get a little bit better so we can help our friends at the tent. Okay, last point. Like I said, continue to do what's defendable actions that myself and the staff can support. Okay, it's so important that we do that all the time. We always got to remember there's lots of eyes on us. There's lots of focus on us. Unfortunately, we live in a world that wants to see people fail. They want to capture people in their low moments. They want to tattle on somebody and get them in a pickle. News now, and I watch news all the time when I'm working from home. Everything's negative. There's never feel good stuff anymore. It's really kind of depressing. But that's the world we live in. That's the environment that we live in. People are obsessed with calling folks out or trying to get something on somebody. It's really sad. So we have to be cognizant of that. I'm not looking for us to be completely jaded and become this big cynical, um, group of people. That's not what I'm getting at here. Let's, if somebody comes up and says hello, or somebody wants to exchange some pleasantries, if somebody wants to tell you you did a great job, thank you so much, by all means, have a great moment with that interaction, and thank them for recognizing and supporting what we're doing out there. But at the same time, we also have to remember there's a lot of people that don't and are not looking for that great messaging. And so we have to be very, very careful in what we do and what we say around them so it doesn't get misconstrued. And we most especially have to be careful around the check-in area and where our site reps are, and John and his team there at Twin Creeks. I've heard many of occasions where umpires are over there and they're debriefing, they're handing in their cards, they're kind of exhausting some of the bad stuff that may transpire during their game, and next thing you know, the coaches are behind them or a parent's behind them, and they're wanting to do the same thing, and that we can't have. We just can't have that. So we have to be extremely careful on what we're saying, how we're saying it, and all of that good stuff. So just do what's defendable, do what is can be supportive, and something that we can defend your actions. And I'll do that all day long. It's unfortunate when we say something or do something that I just can't defend, and I got no answer for it, and I just got to sit there and I got to listen and I got to apologize and profusely apologize and regretfully apologize and say I'm sorry that even happened. I can't even believe that even happened. Um, so let's do that, okay? And I'm going to turn it over to, and I think I'm done here. I'm going to turn it over to Harrison, but just want everybody to know, um, I'm very proud of this group, and I'm very proud of what everybody is doing. Um, it's very rewarding to see when I'm out and about going to high school baseball games. And let me tell you something, high school baseball games are hard to watch. They're hard to watch. I don't know. Just they're hard to watch. But I will say it's really rewarding when you go out and watch a high school baseball game and you see one of our BBUA people and they're doing a great job and they're working the varsity game, or I saw it tonight, and it's just really rewarding. It tells me that we're doing all the right things, and you folks are doing all the right things. You're getting great coaching, great mentoring. You're getting hands-on experience working, competitive baseball, travel baseball on the weekends that are shoring up your skills and sharpening, everything that you need to do to ascend and work more meaningful games besides, travel baseball games. And I just think that that's tremendous. And I think that this organization in well, we'll be 3 years old coming up here in September. I just couldn't be more proud of what everybody is doing. And when I think about people answering a text message, or answering an email about stepping up and stepping in, or helping somebody out, or an eval, or having a coachable moment, or checking in on somebody that fell ill, or whatever it is, this group continues to do that, and I hear about it all the time. And man, it's so rewarding. I just want to thank you guys for being the great people that you are, and to continue to be the great people that you are. It will bode well in everything that we do, not just here with BBUA and the baseball and baseball people and parents. It's going to contribute into your life, and it's going to make you feel very rewarded for the way in which you conduct your lives, and live above what everybody else is not doing. So I just want to commend everybody for really a solid job, and I thank you. And I know we're going to continue to do really good stuff coming up. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to H. I've talked long enough, and Harrison is going to talk about some stuff that he wants to talk about. And if anybody really wants to dive in, you should ask him about how his weekend went. Not the bad stuff, the good stuff, because he had a pretty cool weekend with a pretty good moment that I got to watch on TV. So, H, take it away.
Thank you, Billy. Really appreciate you sharing that, and you really dove into some excellent points there about just keeping your schedule, staying in contact, communication, stuff that we live and breathe every day. Um, Billy mentioned I had a weekend for sure. Been up since midnight California time. My flight from Florida this morning was a 5:30 flight, so I had a 3:30 alarm clock in Florida. So I am I'm running at the end here, but yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a blessed to be a part of it. Had NC State number 11 in the country versus Florida State number 10 in the country. Nice little three pack down there. So yeah, it was a war for 3 days, and it was competition in every pitch, and yeah, so we got to own that this weekend and be a part of that. So, anyways, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about BBUA and and to help us understand as we're transitioning. Big if I can, I think I don't have screen. Do I have screen sharing, Billy? No, I'll just
Oh
send you
yeah,
this.
hold on.
Um.
That would help if I wasn't texting and I hit yes for you. But go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you.
Strong, sorry.
I
Um,
will. I will stop sharing mine. That probably will help too.
okay, perfect. Yep, I'm gonna go screen two. Perfect. I'm getting the dialog box, which means that you guys should be seeing all my screen. Clark, give me a thumbs up if you got my screen. Cool. All right. So I am going to show you and talk about RevQuest first, since this is the most important thing on my mind as we are moving into this will be our last weekend that the BBUA site is even accessible. As of April 1st, we will no longer be paying the tab on that BBUA website, so that website will no longer belong to us. It will cease to exist. So it is very imperative that everyone becomes familiar with the platform that I have on my screen right now. Um, it is RevQuest. For those of you, if for some reason you are not haven't had an invitation to RevQuest, or you have not been logged into RevQuest yet, send me an email at the Black and Blue Umpire Association Gmail, and I will make sure that we have a conversation. Everyone on this call definitely should have gotten an invitation, or at least they have access to it. They may not have gotten an invitation. And I'll briefly show you that right now. You can, when you go to this website, plus.refquest.com, and somebody can put that in the chat, or I can later once I stop sharing. All you need to do if you've never logged in is you'll be on this home screen, and then you'll hit set/forgot password. It'll ask you to create a password if you've never created one. So everyone's email address has already been logged, especially if you're on this call. You've taken the time to show initiative in BBUA. We have over 550 not active, 550 email addresses in our contact list. We only have 225 of those in RefQuest. Again, we pay for every user in RefQuest, so did my best to try to narrow it down to RefQuest to users that are active. So if for some reason you are not active currently, but you're going to be active, definitely just send me an email. We don't mind paying for members that want to be active. So definitely just send me an email, like I said, and we'll make sure that that you are signed up with access to RefQuest. Okay. So I am first gonna show you. I'm in my side as far as the admin side of RevQuest. I'm gonna quickly transition over to the Umpire side. So this is my personal RefQuest account. You guys have under here accounts and central hubs. Okay. This is where the BBUA account lives. So when you log into after you've entered your password, your username, you created one, you log into the BBUA account, and you'll start to see the home page here, making sure we have our news and announcements. This will be stuff like Billy talked about with our expectations, our communication policy, our uniform policy, umpire assistant card. And I just went in and I was getting inquiries about events listed. Um, and so I went in and created this today. It has a running list from everything that's posted on the NCTB events list. It'll tell you what weekends we're running in the Valley, what weekends we're running in the South Bay, and what weekends we're running in both. So for you umpires that kind of split time or prefer one or the other, now you have a running list. And as this website gets updated, I'll probably update it again. What are we, March? So I'll just do it once a month. I'll just add once a month or so. So the next month, end of April, I'll go in and update for August. And so that'll keep you a centralized list of where our tournaments are running that weekend. And of course, as we start to build programs, Billy talked about it already. We are starting to hear those doors knocking from some of our partners. For Perfect Game, Five Tool, Alpha, all the other services that we offer or servicers that we provide for. We'll start to list those as well um, out here. So that is new for the news and announcements list. We obviously have our rejection report here. If you have an ejection, mandatory protocol, you have to send a message to Billy or myself after the game. I did hear there was an ejection over the weekend, and that did not get reported. So we definitely want to shore that up, make sure that we are reporting all of our ejections. And then the next tab is our policies and procedures, and this will come out every week. This comes out, and this will be like similar to the email that you guys would have gotten, and I'm pretty sure it's coming via email now as well. Is it'll have news and notes for that tournament, especially if you're new to us. It'll have where you can find our hat vendor. It'll have different rules that we are working with. Potential for rain in the area, although it doesn't look like we'll have that for a while. Just make sure that you're familiar with this page. That is much appreciated. And then, so that's our homepage. And I'm going to move quickly into what everybody wants to talk about and know about, which is the calendar. Okay, so calendar. I'm going to move to a month here that already has red dots. So a red dot is a firm block. You can see here at the top, it is firm block, and these have all been set up in RefQuest for everyone that was an initial entrant into RQ. For any new umpire that gets added into RefQuest, you will not have that feature turned on. It's not possible. So it's imperative that you go in and set your blocks once you're invited. We've already had that happen 2 weekends in a row now where I've sent games to umpires and then the games come out and then they go, oh man, I didn't get in there and update my blocks yet. Can't happen. There's no excuse for it. You have to go in and set your blocks so that way I know when to schedule you and honestly when not to schedule you. Like if you're blocked, no problem. Like you're blocked. I get it. Like we all have stuff that comes up and we got things going on. Block yourself. Understood. But please make sure to take the time and honestly the courtesy to do that to me. So I will, at the end, I'll show you my working spreadsheet from this last weekend, and it changed so much that it doesn't even look like it started as a white piece of paper. Anyways, so firm blocks here, you select a reason, you add a note, you can make it a partial block if you want to block part of the day, um, or you want to delete the block, you can use the red X there to delete the block. Okay. So, but please just make sure you're using your blocks and I'm gonna take questions on blocks. So, if there's any questions, please unmute yourself. And now is a great time to ask questions about blocks. If I want to create a provisional block, like let's say I have a high school game at let's say I have a high school game at 1 o'clock. So I could say uh, open for first game of the day, good for last two. And then that is going to create. I'll delete these other conferences, and then that'll create a provisional block. It'll give me a blue dot. So red dot means I'm blocked for the whole day. Blue dot means I'm blocked for part of the day, and I want to tell you why. Also, it could be like we mentioned with the with like guys that only live in the valley that want to stay in the valley. You could just add Central Valley only, or South Bay only. If the whole goal is that of this is that if you have a red dot in front of your name, I am not going to try to schedule you after April 4th. I only want to schedule guys that have um, open day or a blue dot day. And I'm gonna go in and show you on the admin side so you guys can all we can all work together so you can see how it looks to me when I go in to try to schedule you. Go ahead. One of the Sahotas, I'm not sure who has their hand raised, so one of you
Anthony.
It's
deliver.
it's Anthony.
Anthony, go ahead. Come on with it.
Uh, so like I think it was 2 weeks ago I had to coach a high school game, and then I put in a time in there, but I also put my description in, so I don't have to put a time in if I just write what I'm doing and say like I'm open for like the last end of the part of the day.
Yeah, I don't think you need to because it's not starred. You see how that has a red star here at the top and a red star underneath?
Yeah.
That means it's a required field. This partial time block is not a required field, so you
Okay.
don't need to enter that there. So you could write coaching high school game early. I can't type tonight. Available after available 5 p.m. or after. Boom. And then
Okay.
I could create that. And again, I'll show you what that looks like on my side in just a minute here. But then I'll see this note when I go in to peruse the list. That's your Jeopardy word for tonight, peruse. It'll show up as that block, as a partial block. So I know you're available some of the day, or you just have something in there that you need to let me know. Cool. So does
All
that
right.
answer your
Thank you.
question? Anything else with that?
No, that was it.
Okay, cool. Um, and again, if the day is open, if it's unblocked, like there's no dot, that means I'm open for the day and I don't need to tell Harrison anything about the schedule. It means I'm open for the day. Please assign me games as, as we see fit. Like Billy mentioned, Saturdays are really challenging this time of year. Sundays we get a lot of umpires back. So, we try to, unfortunately we have to try to maximize opportunities on Saturday and Sunday we try to not minimize, but we try to balance, and so to make up for that maximum effort that's put out Saturday, we try to balance that. Maybe you work early on one Sunday, and then next week I try to get you late Sunday, so that way you sleep in. So and again, if you'd rather do it either way, leave me a provisional note. So tell me how you want it. And I really do. I'm not gonna lie to you. I spend at least 3 hours writing the schedule each week, and right now RevQuest with the way that the input, it takes me another 2 hours to input everything into RevQuest. So I spend at least 5 hours, and that's just writing the schedule. That's not building the actual working document. So I really, I really try for you guys, and I always said I wanted to do the job that the way I wanted it when I was an umpire. So I really try to do that for you guys, and really try at my best to accommodate, some weekends 60 plus requests. And sometimes it's not always possible, but just know that I really am working for you guys because I mean I put the time in and you can ask my family or you can ask these guys on the call. They know what goes into it. So
Yep.
that's what I have for blocks. I don't think it's any more complicated than that, but if you have is there other specific questions we want to go over blocks with? Like this is the time. You have me. I'm on the mouse. I can show everyone. Just something in the here comes the chat. Um. Okay, not a question, but I appreciate the call out. Thank you, Birdie and Clark. He's at Greece early. Cool, awesome. Okay, so if there's not a question about setting my block as an umpire, I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the administrative side. So what I go in, and again, starting on April 4th, which spoiler alert, it does not look like we'll have a tournament, but it was supposed to be Central Valley only. Right now, they have 0 teams signed up. So, Not looking promising for Saturday only. But here's what it looks like on the assigning side. Okay, so I go in and in order to look at who's available for a particular day, I go in and create these dummy games because I know we're gonna have games next weekend. So I go in and try to create these dummy games, and so I will try to um I'll try to assign these games. Little man wants to say hi, so everyone say hi to Ryder.
Hey,
Go ahead, Ryder.
Ryder.
Hey, star of the show. All right. Love you, buddy. Good night. Come on. Thank you. Okay, so you guys can all still see my screen. So you can see how Troy Adams has a firm block. Israel has a that firm block is my red dot. Joanne Zola has a firm block, but he has partial day. That means he tried to follow the instructions, but he got close. But again, a red dot. We wanted to have a blue dot, and I'll show you what a blue dot looks like. This is a blue dot. Rich Clark's got a blue dot. So we want to try to delete the red, and so we only have blank means I'm available all day. Again, red means I'm not available. Again, RQ created these blocks for us, so thank them for that. And we want to try to eliminate this red block partial day. So he's telling me he can work first for Saturday CV location. That's how it looks, the notes on my side. So you guys write your notes in. I see them right there. And then um, the way it works is that I can go in and add an umpire. Like let's say I want to give Paul games, and I can add him there. And then I can give Joey games and add him to number two. Okay, so I can confirm my changes and then I'll save them. And I have to do that every time. So when this weekend we had six umpires, um, for whatever reason, we had to move six umpires around this weekend. And so I have to go in and manually remove every single umpire from every single time slot every time that happens. So again, really important that we try to honor those blocks because it's very, very time consuming to do that. And again, I don't mind doing the work. I'm here for you guys. This is a great platform, but let's make sure that we're giving that same effort on the front side so that I don't have to go back and follow that up and delete every single umpire from every single game to try to make it all work. So questions on the admin side of how it looks. That's Saturday and like again, Sunday it looks the same way where I can go in and add it and it tells me who's available, who has a partial block, who's firm blocked and who's has no blocks. Um, Yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. Like, I mean, life happens. People call out. Like, it's not. I know it. I live that. I don't. I'm not mad about that at all. I just, sometimes it's heavier than another, and so it feels heavier. That's all. But is there any other questions about the signing process and then the way it's gonna work?
Hey,
Because,
I
yeah, go ahead, please.
I have a quick question. So I was not planning on working this past weekend, but
Right.
when I was added, if I still have a red block, if you're gonna put me on games, does that inhibit anything on the assigner side, or should I remove it so you can move things around?
Good question. No, I can go through your blocks. So
Okay.
And I did,
some
Angela.
some umpires, they are still on the texting front pretty much exclusively, and they have not delved into RQ that heavily. And we're trying to eliminate that, just the back and forth with that. And so it's been done well for the most part, but for right now, like we really want to try to provide or make sure that the platform is works both ways for you guys. But yes, I have the ability to go through your blocks. It doesn't mean that you like the system accepts you, but at least when I go through your block, it puts you in there. So
Okay.
again, on April 4th, when we start running payroll through the system, then you'll still be eligible to be paid because you'll be in RQ. We can go through the block. That
Yeah,
makes
as an
sense.
assigner for other platforms, sometimes it's difficult. That's why I was just asking.
Oh yeah, no, I can go right through it.
Okay.
I don't like to because again, like the whole point of this is to I can select the umpires that are available and there's not I'm not fighting the blocks the whole time trying to manage however. And so just so you guys know, I'll show you what this looks like I turned that into this and then basically turn it back into RQ. So the everyone gets a note, their first five, their last three, whatever, and then I put all like Billy talked about pieces of the puzzle. I put all that together and then balance that back in RQ because in order to see the board, who can work where are my holes, I need to put that into a working spreadsheet document and then load that back into RQ, which is how we get to about 5 hours plus every week for these. So again, happy to do the work. I don't mind, but we just want to make sure that we're all talking the same language with our blocks. Um, let's see, I guess RQ. That's pretty much all I got for RQ. Let me stop sharing. Unless there's anything else. Anything else about RQ that we need that we want to talk about?
I got a quick question.
Sure, go ahead, Alan.
Ooh, we got a lot of feedback. There we
Sorry
go.
about that. All right. Um, one of the things that we were able to do with the old system was we could see where our partners were at if we had multiple partners on different fields, and we don't get to see that with RefQuest.
Cool. So I did fix that last weekend and I'll show you where. So, just to help everyone out with that, um, this is the Spring Slugfest weekly policies and procedures. And so if you click into that and you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can download the attachment, and that attachment is that working Excel document that I create. So I try to include on Friday, whenever I post the last schedule on whenever the last changes are made on Friday, I go in and update and add the attachment there, and that's where the Excel document will live as far as you're able to see like you say, you can see the whole board.
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that was a concern for I heard that from I think 5 or 6 people, so I just made it happen.
That's a good call out. Yeah, it's very good.
So now everyone, like you say, it's tough to plan play jobs when you don't know what someone else has got going on. So now everyone can see the whole board, and it'll live in the weekly policies and procedures. So I did get ahead of that, but thank you for now we can now all know where it lives because I didn't mention that on my roll through. So working together, Alan, as a good crew chief does.
H.
Come on, what's up, Clark?
Hey, is there anything in the works as far as if we're going to be a spot where we could see if we're confirmed for the upcoming weekends?
Yep. And that's what I'm going to work on next is right here where it says future games, it says Saturday, March 28th. I could change that to 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out. I could add games as far out as I want, and I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to do it is that I create the games 4 weeks out. I'll probably leave them all like 10U level, whatever. Don't worry about what the level is, but you can I'll go in and try to assign those games, or add you to the not confirm this, but I'll put you on a schedule if that makes sense. It'll probably just be, one game or something, so you don't get locked into you thinking that's your actual schedule. But just so you, like you say, so you know that you're slotted to work. But I can tell you right now, after Billy went in and talked about how heavy it's going to be. I will share with you that he went and looked at the same thing I did, that these numbers are going to start blowing up starting April 11th, 12th. So, I mean, this is a 80 team tournament just in the South Bay, and it adds another 20 teams, 24 teams in the Valley, and it looks to be pretty normal. It's between 65 and 80 teams for a while. So I don't think there will be a single person that will ever not be confirmed for for a while. So it will not be an issue to know if you're on the list. Now we talk about November, December, things like that, January, yeah, confirmed list will be important, but for a while, I do not see anyone not having availability and not getting games.
Yeah, and for me, the only big thing is whether I'm Central Valley or South Bay is because I stay out in the South Bay, so the sooner I can plan and reserve my rooms.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure, for sure.
right.
And I can add
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can add for the weekly list. I'll have Valley site, and it'll have a South Bay site, and we can add we'll try to do that one game. If you get on a one game for that weekend, just know that that basically means that you're confirmed, and we'll just kind of run it like that until we do a little trial. Again, I'm working through this as a new assigner as well using the platform, so I don't know if that's going to be a perfect system. Literally just came up with it yesterday, so not sure yet, but that's what I got so far. So we'll work together on it, and you guys end up. Well, that's what's great thing about these monthly calls is that it's a great time to share feedback and figure out if there's something that's working for the membership, or if it's something that we need to pivot and go to something else. But I think I want to try that for the future.
You mean we're going to communicate?
That's the plan. That's the
Okay.
plan.
Cool. Thank you.
Cool. I'm gonna stop sharing now since I'm done with RefQuest. And Bill, if you want to pull the slide deck back up, I don't know if I had anything else.
Yeah. Hold on.
You're good.
See where we're at here.
Have some lovely tea.
Ooh, I got to get back to my comp baseball tab, so bear with. Do do do.
Just in case you guys ever get a chance to watch Florida State on TV, it is as loud as it is as you think it is. It is loud there, and that kid Miles Bailey, he hit a few baseballs. He hit five on between Friday and Saturday. He hit five homers, and so they did not pitch to him on Sunday. And the only time they did pitch to him on Sunday, they hit him. So
How big is that guy in person, H? He's monster.
he is massive.
Yeah.
He is
He's the real deal.
he is the real deal. He hit some balls. I think they said he hit one 447.
The ball that he hit foul the night you worked first base was unreal.
So yeah, I'm working first base my first conference weekend. Right away I get a whacker and Chief was at he's at second and Greg Street is on the plate, College World Series guy, and he said I had a whacker at first and where he said right when I called he was like, "Oh shit, I think you missed it." And and then we go to review, calls confirmed. And he was like, thank God, let's go. So yeah, I ended up with a good night. 3 for 3 on replay, two confirmed, one stands. Um, one in the fifth, one in the sixth, and then one in the eighth. And then bottom of the eighth, that was the top of the eighth, bottom of the eighth. Bailey hits that whacker pole bender that is foul, and I kept waiting for a challenge on that one, but did not come. They stopped challenging me after that. So that is how that went.
It's a different world.
I mean, it's a home run. I'm sure. I'm like he could have easily, but I mean, yeah, could have easily challenged it. We could have easily used the crew chief review, but they still had one more challenge. As I was just gonna wait to run them all out, but that's the
Yeah,
way it goes.
and I'll just chime in. Harrison's getting an opportunity to work in, arguably one of the best baseball conferences in the country. And the last 2 years of my career, I got to work in the ACC. It is literally no joke. And coming from the West Coast, as Harrison is as well, and there's great baseball out here. I can assure each and every one of you, the atmosphere is not even relatively close to what transpires back east and in the South. Everything has to do with sports. Everything has to do with those institutions. Everything has to do with right now baseball. And when he talks about it being loud, it's insane, and it's energy that you can't duplicate. And it will test your wherewithal. It'll test your ability to focus, concentrate. It'll test your ability to control your breathing and your heart rate, so you can process things accurately, quickly, and it's no joke. I can't describe. You just can't describe it until you live it. And even when you try to describe it, it just doesn't come out in the words eloquently enough. And I hope a lot of you get the opportunity to experience it, because it's a sensation that you can't duplicate, being a participant in a sporting event. And I've been lucky to be part of some really cool moments in collegiate baseball, and it's beyond words, what that does for your mental capacity. And then especially when you have an achievement like working a major plate job like Harrison did, with two big time schools ranked in the top 10, 15, whatever they are. And you get done with that, the sense of accomplishment is beyond anything, and the relief that you have that you persevered through something, not only physically but really mentally, is something that they can't take away from you. And I know exactly what he feels like. And I was kind of living through him on Saturday night, as I kind of thought back about my times working back there and what he felt like on Saturday night once he completed that game. So I'm very proud of him, and he did a great job. So it was awesome. It was awesome to watch. Okay.
Just for scale, that's Miles Bailey and that's me. So,
Yeah. He's a big dude.
That is a big. Well, that was after his second homer of the day. And I told him, he hit that ball. I said, Miles, just drop it. Go ahead, Miles, just drop it. Just drop it. I was like, bro, please don't do a bat flip. Make me throw you out. It's going to be on every single fucking Sports Center from here until the end of time. Just please drop it.
Exactly.
And he did. So that was
Yeah.
great.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I don't think we have our boys from Southern California. Those guys were working on some stuff, so we don't really have an update from Scott or Pete. And Stu's having a procedure today, so we're wishing him the best. So we will. Do we got Justin on the phone, on the call?
You got me.
Okay, you got anything you want to input here, bud?
I do. As we were discussing, the scheduling and has been going through RefQuest, but we are going to start paying through RefQuest, and I believe that is going to happen. It would have been after the tournament on April 4th, or possibly after this weekend coming up. But where are we at? What week is it? What's today? I can't remember.
23rd.
Yeah, so the question is when exactly we pull that trigger. I'm not 100%. We'll get that information, but the bottom line is that you need to go into RefQuest and ensure that your profile in the pay section has been updated with your banking info. I know some of you did that initially, but now's the time to do that, because when we do, as of like April 1st, we're going to be done with Work Market, as I understand it, and we will start paying through the RefQuest platform. So get that stuff in there now. Don't wait. The good news for everyone is if something goes wrong and you don't get your stuff in there, the money doesn't disappear. It's there and waiting for me to hit the pay button when you do put your info in. So rest assured, everyone's getting paid, but get it in sooner than later. If you have questions on any of that, please feel free to reach out. Please make an effort to go into the pay section and fill in your info. And if you have legitimate questions, please reach out. I'm happy to help. I can even put a tutorial together if that's necessary, and I will base that on the number of calls or messages I get. I expect that payroll will continue to process and get into your accounts on Thursdays. Understand that this is a new process as we transfer our money into RefQuest to make sure that you get paid. Sometimes there's a delay on when that becomes available. Sometimes these transfers take 2 or 3 days. So Um, we assume everything's going to go as usual. Pay on Thursdays. It could leak into a Friday. It could carry over into the next week, the first week we get active in here. But after the first transfer, things usually pick up. The transfers take less time. So we expect everything to pay on Thursdays as usual going forward once we get rolling. Um, I think that is everything I wanted to cover. As usual, some of you reach out when you need to. That's fine. Please continue to do so. Um, I may give you a little grief back sometimes, but that's just because I have nothing better to do. Actually, no, I'm pulling my hair out every day. I got way too many things to do, but I'm happy to help you when you need it. So thank you. You know where to find me. Get your stuff updated.
Very good. Justin, thanks. And I think I'll just piggyback on the message. Usually when we're transitioning into something else, I know work market, we had a couple little glitches until everything is kind of buttoned up and the algorithms and everything just are all connecting. Just be patient. You will get paid. We're looking for this to be pretty smooth. Got to understand RQ pays thousands of umpires in the collegiate space currently. So we have all the confidence in the world that it'll be good. We even think that the processing might be cut down by a day. We just don't know at this time until we kind of, have a few transactions that go back and forth, and the parties kind of, our banking account talks to their banking account, and then obviously it goes and talks to your bank. So during that time, just show a little grace there. Just keep us updated by all means. We don't want to alert anybody or have anybody freak out, but you guys are accustomed to getting paid at a certain time, and that time comes in and it's there and whatnot. I'm just pre-warning that we may have a few opportunities that it just doesn't hit at the same time or on the same day. Let's not panic. We'll work through it together. That money's there. It's just kind of sitting in that kind of virtual world, just trying to figure out the push pull of all the way that it connects and everything. So I expect it to be pretty good, but I also expect that we'll probably have one or two little minor things, and we'll work through those things. But again, Justin's available if anybody's got questions, concerns, needs to be walked through the process. Let's be respectful of his time and reach out via email and not call him on a moment's notice, but be respectful for his time, and he'll definitely get back to you, and we'll try to make this as smooth as possible. I envision that you guys are probably going to have a reprieve, because I don't think that single day Easter tournament's going to happen in the Central Valley. So we would actually be looking at doing our first RevQuest transaction would probably be around the 15th or the 16th of April if it plays out the way I think it's going to play out. So we'll just go from there. I mean, I'd love for us to have the single day, but I don't know. The single days I think are kind of a dying breed. I know Super Bowl Saturday or whatever it wasn't a lot of teams. I think people are kind of growing past the single day stuff and just taking the whole weekend and just making it just a regular weekend without baseball. What an idea. So anyways, that's what we got with that. Okay. So we're done with Justin's portion. We're going to open it up, wrap it up. Any kind of comments, concerns? I want to know about the Sahorta. Are you feeling better? Is that fever gone down? You had us worried there over the weekend. Chime in. It was
Yeah,
102, 103, Anthony. You better?
yeah, I'm feeling better now. It's
Okay,
just a
buddy.
cough and some congestion, but
Okay.
I'm getting there.
All right. Good. Stay away from those little kids. Gosh darn it. I know that's hard. You can't do that.
Yeah, I
But
coach them. They're all
they're
getting
they're petri dishes, those little kids. Just ask Justin. He's got a whole litter of them. They're constantly getting sick. It's all good. Anybody else?
I got plenty. And the little ones always. Yeah,
they're always sick.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Comments, concerns, questions? Anybody? Nothing? Gosh darn. Justin, we just do such a great job every week that we just leave everybody speechless. It's I mean, I wish I had that effect on my wife, but I just continue to fail there. So, I don't know. Anyways,
Harrison, I think for the first time, I got to tell you, for the first time, Harrison, I think I sat in a hotel room and watched a game on replay on Sunday morning just to watch your Saturday game.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Because I didn't get to see you, in real time on Saturday. That was fucking awesome, man. Good
Thank you very
stuff.
much. I felt
Good
like I
stuff.
was seeing it good, and then I'll share it with you guys.
You need me to stop, Sharon?
No, I got it now.
You could have had a twofer.
I could have had a twofer. That's a different story.
I'm guessing. Did you tell him that I said hello before you ran
I
him?
didn't. Nope.
Fuck, Billy, I almost texted you, man. Like, which guy did you say hello to?
Let me tell you something. That guy is a crusty old bastard, but he fucking loves me. I don't know. Like I said, I've had him a lot, so I don't know. He's tough. He's definitely tough, and he probably. I haven't seen the ejection, but he probably rodeo clowned the hell out of you.
Chris got there pretty early, so he made sure that he didn't do too much, and then Chief got in there too. So yeah,
Tried.
I definitely had an injection, just in case you guys can figure that out. Yeah, injection, first plate job, first conference weekend. Still shot a 96. So this is what our reports look like. Um, you can see correct calls, incorrect calls, buffer zone pitches. Um, you can see all the balls that were called. You can narrow it down by strikes. You can narrow it down by pitches. So this is kind of like a really cool teaching tool. Um, I really want these ones out that are way out over here back. They were fastballs, though they weren't sliders, so that was interesting. But
You would
yeah,
assume slider on that,
I
huh?
right then I didn't sliders
Yeah.
were fine. Sliders we did not have any misses on, which was interesting for sure. But if you look at incorrect
You
pitch,
probably called those three just to get them to shut the fuck up, like one every 3 innings. They were begging all fucking day, man.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. Well, you guys wanted this machine. Here you go. This is what it looks like. So these are all forcing, sinker, forcing. These are all my strike misses. So
Sorry
uh,
about my language.
no, you're good. I really want these ones back because these are way out. But yeah, other than that, that was fun. That was a fun play job. That was a good game to work
Harrison,
and
you
good
want
to
to
you
know?
all.
Know who looked at that report before you did?
Probably the whole fucking team.
No, the athletic director of Florida State. Trust me.
Oh, wow.
Trust me. I've been in a room with him. He looks.
Yeah. Well, it was cool. Like I said, it was fun, great atmosphere. It was just like being back in the game, like a playoff game. Every day is a playoff game there. Every pitch is a playoff game. So,
Man,
they fight for it, and it was cool just to go out there and compete with those guys and have fun and actually score. So, um,
Oh, yeah.
we'll see. Also, I went to third base on Sunday, and Chris came over to me from Chris is a third base coach from North Carolina State. He asked me, he goes, "Where do you live? Where's home?" I said, "Sacramento." He goes, "What the fuck are you doing out here?" He's like, "Well," he's like, "You're a long way from home, man." I said, "I know."
and he's a country bumpkin.
He is. He is. It was hilarious. I mean, yeah, we flew out on Wednesday night, took a red eye, and then took the first thing moving Monday morning. So it was a full weekend down there, but it was beautiful. It was fun. Great place to work. So
I had a leisurely trip to Fullerton and it was nice and quiet all weekend.
I'll be going to USF this weekend, and I'm not mad at that.
No, it's good with your eyes closed.
Anybody
Oh,
else got any questions, comments before we bid this adieu? We got another meeting to get to here and wrap up our weekend. So I want to wish everybody well. Thank you for being on the call and continue to do all the great work that you do. Super proud of everybody and look forward to. I look forward to getting out to Creek soon as all my my replay stuff is over. But I just picked up 2 more weekends, so it'll be the middle of May now. But look forward to getting out there and being with y'all. So continue to do the great work. Super proud, very pleased with everybody. So thank you. Have a
Lots of
good night.
games on
thank
deck.
you all very much. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do. We ask a lot of you guys, so thank you very much.
Great information. Thank you. Love dumping there.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Nice
Seth.
to have you, Seth. Look forward to meeting you down the road.
Absolutely. awesome college jumping, man. That's high class.
It's fun, brother. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's fun.
And maybe I'll do it in the future when I retire from my other job. God bless.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a good evening.
See you guys.